From the beginner to the professional, from the novice to the master, from playing, experimenting things to create a masterpiece. These are all the elements of art. On this show, our art is sound. Hi, I'm LV Smith, host of that show called Sounds Within. And I'm always excited, particularly during November. It seems that I get the best talent. And I've outdid myself. I'm patting myself on the back here. I couldn't do any better. Now, for jazz aficionados, we all know the Bible known as DOWNBEAT. And we know the best only are revealed on DOWNBEAT. Well, check this out, children. I got one of the top 3 jazz organists in the house today, or tonight, whatever your time reference would be. I'm speaking of Brian Charette. I mean, we're talking about somebody who's invited to play with the great DeFranscesco. I mean, that's talent. And he's on our show today. Say hello to the audience, Brian. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Hello. Hi, LV. I'm doing pretty good. I'm in New York City. I'm in the East Village today. You guys are in Pasadena.
It's all West Coast stuff, but who cares? We love it all. We love it all.
Me too. Me too. Me too.
Okay. Okay. One of my favorite questions, for some odd reason, too many people get all dumbfounded, but I love this question because it defines our show, sound. I want you to dig back in your memory banks as far back as you can remember. I mean, to the farthest point, and think, what was the very first sound that you finally went after and recognized?
A few things. Actually, could I say 2 things?
Yes, you may.
When my parents were school teachers. So during the day, I was looked after by my grandfather, who would hold me and pluck a string on the window and go DB, 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 DB. So I called him DB. So this is the very first sound I remember. I also remember Barbra Streisand. So those were the first, and I also very much loved Hall & Oates. This is the first time I remember hearing music and it meaning something to me. You know, I also had very small, do you remember those record players where they were all contained and they had a little speaker in them and you flip the top open. So I had 3 recordings. I had Star Trek in '76, which was a K-Tel greatest hits record. I was born in 1972. It had songs like Ramblin' Man by the Allman Brothers on it. And I had Drag City by Jan and Dean, speaking about Pasadena. And I had a reading of The Wizard of Oz, but like the old one from 1896 or whatever it was. So those were my 3 records that I would play.
Wow.
When I was a kid.
Wow. Okay.
And I had a headboard, you know, I had a double bed. It was a pretty big bed. And there was space under the headboard where I would climb with my record player and listen to those 3 albums.
Now, that's going to be an answer that's going to be hard to top from anybody. Now, okay. Let's move on and think, what was the very first sound that motivated you to become the consummate musician you are?
Well, I had a piano in my house and my mother played the piano very well. So at a very early age, I would go there and play the piano all day long, you know, basically. Actually, how I started, I'll even show you. Can you wait a second while I show you the first book I used when I was a child?
Go right ahead.
It will take 20 seconds.
It's all good.
Anyway, there was a song I had a book called Fireside Folk Songs, Great American Folk Songs. In the book, there was a picture and a song called The Great Wall of China. It was a 2-page song. And on the top was like this picture of the wall. They had some merchants. They had like a medical, you know, little tent. And I would open the book to that page and just improvise on the piano for hours when I was very young, like 5.
Wow.
And my mother saw that I played the piano, so I started to take lessons with a gentleman named George McKinstry, who was a very good piano teacher. He had, I remember, a lot of hair in his nose. It was a joke. Sorry. He was a good piano teacher, though. And you know, I played the piano like pretty seriously. I learned how to read music, you know, the whole routine. And then I started to play in bands when I was like 14.
Great. Let's get back to that. We're going to need to hear something from you. Even though you may not have an organ today, can you share us a song?
Yes, I'm going to play piano. This song is called Time Changes. It's actually on one of my organ albums called Alphabet City. And it's a composition called Time Changes.
Time Changes with the great Brian Charette, folks. Take it away, Brian.
My poetry is about viewing the world as I saw it as a young man, and down to the ages I continued to write verse. I used that as a creative expression, but it also helped me through life because I could address certain issues, certain feelings, and certain appreciations. I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. And suddenly I realized I was there where those other people were. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This is Bridget Purdy,
And this is Monkeyhead.
and you are watching L.V. Smith.
Sounds Within.
Yes, Sounds Within.
Time Changes by Brian Charette. Hey, so what if we don't have an organ today? But that keyboard work says it all. I mean, we're talking real music here via, Zoom. Folks, we're blessed to have this man. Okay, Brian, thank you for being a guest on our show. I'd like to know, how did you get started starting from piano and winding up with the Hammond?
Well, I actually, when I moved to New York, I was 21 years old. I moved shortly after I graduated from college. And I had to get a portable Hammond organ rig because I was playing Chitlin Circuit blues gigs in those days to pay the bills because I didn't have tons of gigs in New York yet. And I was playing with people like Percy Struthers and Lee Schott Williams, who were like blues guys from the South. So I got at the time, which was very new technology, the Hammond XB2. And I got a small 302, Leslie it was called. It was a very cool, authentic sounding Hammond organ rig. So I remember unpacking that thing, and I was living at the time on St. Mark's Place in First Avenue in the East Village, which is where I still live. This place was the building on the cover of the Led Zeppelin album Physical Graffiti. Do you remember that record? So this was my building. I got called, I remember unpacking the thing in my kitchen. And when it would rain, sometimes a pipe would burst and it would be like a downpour in my kitchen. But there were so many holes in the floor that the water never stayed. But sometimes it would be like it was raining in the kitchen, like outside a thunderstorm. It was pretty heavy.
Man.
So I was unpacking this organ in my kitchen, and right then I got a call from a gentleman named Frank Bombera, who was a drummer, lived on Lower East Side, who had a gig at a place called the St. Mark's Bar, which was on St. Mark's and First Avenue in the East Village. And lots of cool people would play there. Ralph LaLama, Bobby Sanabria would play there. It was a cool music place. So I started to play organ there. And it was kind of the first place in New York where I really started to play a lot. So people saw me playing organ before they saw me playing piano, even though I had been mostly a pianist. So
I would never know. Wow. Man, you got to keep coming on show, man. Your life is sort of like a series.
Just wait until I start talking about the girls, LV.
In these times, yeah, right. Okay, I'm not going to be the cause of Miss Melanie getting after you, so I know nothing.
No. I'm true blue.
Yes, good. Okay, who are some of your mentors that really sparked that creativity within you?
Do these have to be people that I knew?
No.
Okay. I was very inspired by two keyboard players, Keith Emerson and Rick Wakeman. I was very into progressive rock music when I was a kid. I was into Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I had a great book of transcriptions of Keith Emerson, which I really studied very much. And he's very interesting because he has contemporary classical elements about his piano playing. He was very influenced by Jack McDuff. So he was very well-rounded. And I actually met him and played a concert with him. Check this story out. So I am endorsed by Hammond. I was at the Hammond mixer in Anaheim for the NAMM show. I'm upstairs there. I'm reaching for a piece of cheese. Another guy's reaching for a piece of cheese, and it's Keith Emerson.
Whoa.
Yeah. So he was super cool, very nice, and we played together that night in the Marriott for the Hammond concert.
Nice.
So it was pretty incredible. Rick Wakeman I've never met, but would love to. He has tons of YouTube videos and speaks very eloquently. Seems like a very nice man and very knowledgeable. So these two guys I was super into, you know, Herbie Hancock. I studied with a couple of guru guys. Charlie Banakis in Boston, who was kind of the Boston guru for a very theoretical hexatonic approach, it's called. You know, I won't get into the technical explanations of it, but it's a kind of very symmetrical study of lines in jazz music. So I studied with him, and I studied with Kenny Werner, who was a much more spiritually interested person who had a very different approach. Like, he wrote the book Effortless Mastery. So these were like my two big piano gurus that I studied with.
Wow.
And I played lots of gigs with heavy people when I was a kid, and I made tons of mistakes.
It seems like you learned a lot from those mistakes.
Sure.
Well,
Sure.
You know what? Since you brought that up about all this playing, let's hear another song.
Okay, this one is called Honeymoon Phase. This I wrote for my wife, Melanie, when we were courting.
Oh, yeah, the courting
Yeah.
days. Great. So we're going to hear Honeymoon Phase by the great Brian Charette. Take it away again there, Brian.
Hey, it's L. And Thursday night is live with Jeff Hodge. Come on down and check him out.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit.
I get it. I can do better. Just please don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
Honeymoon Phase by Brian Charette. I mean, really, we are so fortunate to have you here on Sounds Within.
And I'm fortunate to be here. We're fortunate to be alive.
Yes, yes. And I will extend this invitation for you to come back whenever you have time available, because I know you're a very busy guy with all the gigs you have to do and people around you. And I understand you teach music as well.
I do. I'm teaching now more than I ever have.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Hey,
we're teaching very much on Zoom now. You know, all of my students are, all of them are virtual.
Wow.
Mostly all of them.
Maybe I better get myself a keyboard and at least learn some keyboard skills to get deeper. What are some of the things that lie ahead for you?
Well, I'm coming to the West Coast in the end of January. I'm going to be in Southern California on the 21st. I'm playing at the Baked Potato with the Vivino brothers, who used to live in New York, and we played for years together here. So we have like a reunion of this band. So this is going to be very special. That is the 21st of January. On the 22nd, I'm playing with the Vivino brothers in Ventura. I'm not sure of the name of the venue. And then 27 and 28, I'm going to be in Ventura at Squash Grapes with Doug Webb.
Tell Doug I say hello.
And maybe I'm going to stay the week after too.
Uh-oh.
You know how I love LA.
Well, hey, I represent LA. I loved you back. So you just come on down. You just come on down here. Stay a long while.
I think I'm going to stay for a while longer.
You heard it, folks. You heard it right there. We're going to have our own super West Coast organist. Join others out there, but that's great. Hey, we have this demon called time, and it ain't too nice to us because all the good things we like to share amongst ourselves, well, time just takes away that time. So we're cut down a great deal. Okay. But can you offer any words of wisdom for the future Brian Charettes? I mean, like you said, you want the few that takes the ham and where people say, well, it doesn't belong there, and yet you're making it happen. What words of wisdom do you have for the future Brian Charette?
I have two sayings of wisdom. The first one is, plow diligently and expect no harvest. And the second one is, forgive everyone for everything immediately.
That's a tall order. Both of them are very tall orders, and I couldn't think of a better person to come out with that. That's great. How can people get in contact with you?
I'm very easy to find. My website is Brian, BrianCharette.com. And all of the links to my social medias are there. On social media, I'm Pinch Brian, PINCHBRIAN. But I'm very easy to find. If you just search my name in a search engine.
Okay, I'm going to squeeze in another question. How did that Pinch Brian come to be?
That nickname was given to me by Neil Sugarman, who ran the original Neil Sugarman 3, which would become Daptone Records.
Oh, wow. I mean, from Deftone to Downbeat. That's a tall order. I mean, that is trailblazing. I've never seen before. Well, I'm going to send that invitation. I want to make sure you heard it. That please come back again. We'd love to have you.
I so appreciate your support, LV, coming to see all the concerts over the years.
And they're well worth it, folks. You won't be missing. You'd be missing everything in this spectrum of music by not seeing Brian. He is what it's all about. Well, folks, we come to that point in time when we must bid farewell until another episode of Sounds Within, hopefully again with Brian. And what are you going to take us out with?
I actually am going to sing one and play piano, which I don't do very much. This is called My Ideal.
Okay, folks, we're going to close off with My Ideal by the great Brian Charette. See you again soon, folks. Take us out, Brian.
Long ago, my heart and mind got together and designed a beautiful girl for me. Oh, what a fantasy. Though the idol of my heart can be ordered a la carte, I'm hoping she'll be more than a fantasy to me. Will I ever find the girl in my mind, the one who is my ideal? Is she just a dream? Or maybe she might be right round the corner, waiting for me. Will I recognize that light in her eyes that no other eyes reveal? Or will I pass her by and never even knowing that she is my ideal? Will I recognize the light in her eyes that no other eyes reveal? Or will I pass her by and never even knowing that she is my ideal?
Hey, I'm James.
Hi, I'm Aaron.
Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Jasper.
And together, we're Annalee and the Authorities. Come check out Elvie Smith's show on
The Sound Within.
Hi, I'm Roger Anthony Whiting.
And Mark Ricciardi.
And you are watching the Arroyo Channel.